As far as the park goes, surveillance cameras and that stuff are getting in place?
Yeah, we met with the electricians, I thought I said that.
You did.
Okay, yeah, we met with the electricians, they're putting in the conduits and the wires that we need now for them. Yeah, we'll have cameras all over that.
Yeah, I'm concerned because the areas, like you just said, with the pickleball courts and that other area not being well lit.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick up most of that. Monocacy Valley donated poles to us, so we'll be able to install those poles. We met last week. They know everything they have to do, the contractors know. And I almost forgot this, but any other question on the camera?
No, that's it.
Not on the cameras, but just to clarify, the leaf pickup will be on Mondays? Is that's the day of the pickup? Thank you.
Every Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
That is Chuck.
Yeah, I did get a check today from the Ladies Auxiliary for the Eagles for a donation, the Eagles Lady Auxiliary. They donated to the police department. They must divide it out equally because it didn't make sense really. $908.58. So
Nice.
that comes to the police department, and that goes into the special project fund for equipment that we have to buy or events that we plan for the kids. We all have that money in there for that.
Okay.
I'll be
Thanks.
sending a letter to them. Thank you.
All right. Todd, anything?
Just to go back on the nuisance and noise ordinance, do you want the planning commission to look at a specific noise ordinance? Because if you wanted to just be specific to noise, we could advertise the nuisance ordinance for adoption. But that's later on the budget, I'd have to prepare the legal ad to adopt that later, or do you want to just wait on all of that?
Council, what's your pleasure there? We can move ahead with the nuisance ordinance adoption, advertising, and have planning commission do a separate ordinance related to noise only.
Just because the nuisance ordinance has been a long time coming on the changes. There's some
Everybody
things that-
okay with moving ahead with the nuisance ordinance advertising? Okay.
And so,
You're gonna do a noise ordinance.
So, what?
You're gonna work on a noise ordinance.
Right.
yes.
Yes.
Correct. Go ahead, Todd.
Did you want that for the next meeting or the second meeting of November? Or you're gonna have a second meeting in November?
Yeah.
I think I have it in there for adoption at the November 26th, because I wasn't sure what your schedule was.
Okay.
Okay.
So unless there's any questions, that's all I have for now.
Logan?
Chuck already highlighted our big win here tonight, which was the $200,000 on the pump station project. So that was good news today. The other big win I'll note is that the lead and copper service inventory, which was completed with a lot of help from Lindsay and Sandy and them in the office, was submitted on the 16th in accordance with DEP's rule there. So we're continuing to work with the office team on next steps in that process.
Okay. Is that it?
Pretty much it.
Thanks. Let's see, nothing for Adams County tax, and just let me have it on the second page. There it is. York Adams Tax Bureau and Council of Governments.
York Adams Tax Bureau meets on Monday, the 28th at 6:30. I'll be zooming that, and Council of Governments meets this Thursday at 8:30 in the morning up at the Emergency Management Services. We'll have an update on that
Next time.
at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. We are at the public comment for non-agenda items or all other matters of concern.
Oh,
Again-
no, you need to do the recommendation from the planning commission.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Planning Commission, recommendation to approve the nuisance ordinance we have to actually, I need a motion to approve the nuisance ordinance with changes recommended by the borough solicitor.
Make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Just for clarification, motion to advertise it.
Advertise it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now, public comment for non-agenda items, all other matters of concern. Again, same rules apply with regard to our public comment policy. Yes, sir? Name and address, please.
Jeremy Wrestler, 10 St. John's Road West. Good evening, Borough Council. Appreciate your time tonight. I'm coming before you tonight as a concern, as a father, coach, and current board member on 2 of the youth sports programs here in town, baseball and football. Despite the class sizes in school that are shrinking, youth sports, we've actually seen a resurgence in a lot of participation the last couple of years. And while all the updates and improvements that are being made at Community Park are fantastic, it's awesome. Unfortunately, a casualty coming out of that was the loss of the 2 baseball fields and the soccer fields in the middle. Fields that even up to the time of demolition this past year were consistently being used, and fields that have been there for decades. And even though I know the old tennis court has been raised and it's turned into a field, like I said, we're still down 2 baseball fields. I'm coming before you because I'm actually requesting that you look into doing like a feasibility study for a couple of things. One, I know you haven't determined what you're going to do with the old pool property.
Right.
It would be nice for someone to take a look at to see if that could be turned into a small, youth t-ball / soccer field, multi-purpose use for that.
What would you, it's funny, I've been thinking about that, and I've actually talked to somebody about it, just, I don't have the authority alone to do anything to it, but what would that size lot, in your opinion, be most suitable for, of one of those 2 things?
I mean, looking at it, if you...
Is a soccer field for real little kids smaller dimension than a full-size soccer field?
Potentially, yeah, because for the small kids, they usually will take a normal soccer field, cut it in half, and then they'll run 2 fields.
Okay, I was just curious, that helps me.
And even like a t-ball field, you can even do multi-purpose, right, depending on how you lay it out, because t-ball, kids are
Yeah,
not...
because we've not discussed anything, what we're gonna do with that piece of property that,
And the second thing I'd ask you to take a look at is updating the ball field that's, behind Maple Avenue. For years, the baseball program really can't use that field for anything other than t-ball, because the backstop and the fencing at the dugouts is super low, so you worry about kids getting hit with balls. That would go a long way into helping, get more fields for use for baseball and, like I said, the soccer at the old pool. I understand all this stuff costs money. You guys seem to be awesome at finding grant money here or there and just, popping up where you go. So it would be great, to find some kind of grant money to be able to facilitate that. Whether it's, t-ball, youth baseball, youth softball, youth soccer, and now in town they just started a new youth field hockey program. So sports are growing, there's lots of kids playing. It'd be great to have more fields than kids, but right now we have more kids than fields.
Gotcha.
So I'm just, asking you to take a look at what we can do with what we have to make it better, or, add more
Yeah.
fields for.
The one thing with the pool prior pool lot is, I did talk to the borough manager about this the other day, just casually, and one thing we want to do is make sure that all settles really well first and see what we've got to top off and that kind of thing before we would move forward putting anything there. But we don't have any plan discussed with council or anything else yet about what we might eventually do something with it other than just let it sit there.
Right.
So
But it's good to have recommendations.
It is,
Like,
it is.
that gives us a place to look at. And Jeremy, while you're here, maybe you can tell me, I know Maple Avenue is closing.
Mhm.
Do we know when that's closing?
It'll be, I think, a year from this December.
Okay, so 2025 December, that's gonna be the last school year there, and then that's gonna be decommissioned, correct? It's gonna be taken-
They don't know what they're gonna do with it yet. They're actually just gonna to discuss that, whether they, wanna pay the money to just level it, turn it into a parking lot, or sell it, or, everything's up in the air right now,
And
so.
the reason I ask is when that closes, you asked about us looking into that field.
Mhm.
We would have to work hand in hand with the school if they were still gonna be there, because we can't put a fence up for, if they're gonna be out there for recess, and the fire department uses it for the
Right.
carnival and stuff,
Right.
so. All right, thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Quick question, have you reached out to the schools, like the high school and all that, for ball field use when they're not?
So yes, and actually this year has been kind of crazy because with the park
Yeah.
being in the state that
Right.
it's in, everybody has been buying for field use at the school. So it's been,
So you have. reached out to
yeah,
them?
I mean, you bring up the facility calendar and
Right.
there's been times where every field has been used
Wow.
by, school programs, which
Right.
get first priority, then, youth soccer, youth field
Right.
hockey, youth football. It's been crazy.
I asked that because back in the day when my kids were there, they were doing the AYSO
Mhm.
soccer stuff on the school
Mhm.
fields and that kind of stuff, so I was just curious.
Yeah, every field is pretty much being used every day.
Got it, thank
What
you.
about McSherry Field? I know that's used by different organizations.
The youth baseball fields?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, youth base. So we have those fields,
Okay,
but it's,
I'm just trying to think of fields while we're,
right, we're at the point where we have, so many teams, and, every team wants practice, 2 or 3 nights a
Yeah.
week, and shuffling people around, and T-ball was a perfect, teams to send out to the pool field, right, because they're not hitting the ball as far, so, plus there's good parking.
do you utilize the field below where the pool was?
Yes, and we would love to get better dirt and some other stuff down there too, that could use some improvements.
Are there fields in Germany Township, the park out there? or-
I don't think
So
they
there
put it-
is.
Oh, there is.
The-
I heard there might be some.
There was a new field out there and there was some logistics issues
Okay, that's why I asked, I
with
heard
it.
it was.
So maybe, hopefully in the future, we'll be able to get around some of that. I know the way the field was laid out, it was better suited for some of the younger kids and we needed some of the older ones. And it's great, we still have that, 90-foot diamond out the pool, because that's like the only one that we can use. So that's-
Are they also using those fields over at Plum Creek off of, it's not Racehorse, it's,
No, that's a different AYSO.
okay,
Different area of operation.
gotcha, thank you.
I know if you want input from the youth organizations, I'm sure they'd be glad to come and help, reach out. We'll be, we're all in this together, it's all for the kids, right? I mean, that's
Right.
what it should be about, so.
Okay,
But appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Any other public comment? Yes?
I'm scared.
You scare, you don't scare me.
Joyce Weatherly, 32 West King Street.
Thanks, Joyce.
I just wanted to mention, when they were talking about the bulk pickup,
Mhm.
a lot of people I spoke to had no idea it was happening. I know Chuck said that it was advertised to death.
It was.
I heard lots of people, everybody that I talked to that had no idea about it, which was everybody I talked to but one person, they had no idea it was happening. So I don't know where it was advertised, I don't even know how I found out. I remember seeing it on my phone on something, I don't know what, I don't know if it was Savvy Citizen.
Probably
I
Savvy
don't know if
Citizen,
it
the
was next
the
door, I
borough
don't know.
website, it mentioned in here, I don't know where else, but
Yeah, that was the big
Facebook,
thing. that-
Facebook page, I mean,
Yeah, see,
you
I
know,
don't-
we're using
I
the,
don't know why people didn't, because
don't
I
either.
have nothing,
Yeah.
I have no Facebook, I don't have a television, I don't have, I can see billboards.
Smoke
That's about
signals?
it.
how about smoke signal?
I do not even have smoke signals, but I knew about it, so I
Yeah.
don't know where they, but I
I don't know,
hate
it's
to
a
see you
shame,
guys.
because we thought it was gonna be,
Yeah, I'd hate to see you not do it
Yeah.
again, because
Well-
we utilized it.
No, we just put out a one-page thing out because a lot of, we had the town criers out, we were throwing more away than what was being taken. And was getting harder and
Oh, yeah,
harder to
I
get
know what
people
you're
to
talking about.
advertise in it, so.
Yeah,
and
we
they couldn't
talked about
reduce-
that in
Yeah,
here.
they couldn't reduce the number, but the
Right.
guys would put them out and they'd bring so many of them back, it was
Okay. Oh,
it
good.
was a waste.
And I don't know if it can be done, but can something like that be put on the water and sewer bill?
That's
Everybody
what
gets
I
a water
thought.
and sewer bill,
Yeah, that's a good
and
idea.
they read them. Can, like,
Yeah,
something like
they only give us,
notification we put on
yeah,
there?
they only give us so much room, but I'll have to look to see.
I mean, just a simple.
Yep.
It wouldn't have to be a long drawn out thing, October 27th,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Anything else? Yes.
Well, related to that, I didn't know, like, how the, like, Stone Cipher and Sons and the other, whoever else does trash pickup, if they'd be willing to work with you, or if that takes away from their money, so I don't know. But if people knew from their trash service provider, maybe they would, that would get us the word
That's
out.
who provided, we paid them for the dumpsters.
Right, so
spent the money.
maybe they would be willing to advertise to their customers.
Oh, I see.
Is what
you're
I'm saying.
I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're saying.
Like, we all get that bill
Yeah.
from them,
Plus,
so.
and the other thing is, and this is not a solution to the issue, but Stone Ciphers will, I mean, if you're a customer of theirs, you're gonna pay for it, but they will come and take something away
Yeah.
from your house. If you have something
Right.
something big you wanna get rid of, they'll send guys over with a different kind of truck, but you'll pay for that
Right,
service.
I just didn't know if they'd be willing to advertise. But the other question I had, I'm sorry, on a different topic is, could you explain to our, lay out the budget timeline? I mean, I don't even know, like, what your fiscal year is. You know, you did the draft
Calendar
budget.
year,
Oh,
calendar year.
I figured it must be calendar year.
Yeah.
But then also, like, okay, so you did the draft, like, I just don't know the process. You had the draft, then what happens, and then what happens, like,
Sandy, go ahead.
So we'll do the draft budget, and then we'll do tentative adoption, and then I advertise.
was that
it.
tonight?
Yes, so there's a resolution for tentative adoption, and then after that, they also did to advertise the budget notice, which has to be done in the paper, so the budget notice will be advertised to let the public know, whoever reads the paper, that the budget is now on display. The tentative budget will be on the website, it'll be in the borough office, and I usually put a copy down at the library too.
And when was that?
When I get it advertised, usually within 2 days of the meeting, I'll get it advertised. By law, it only has to be on public display for 10 days. Usually the borough does it longer than that. A lot of times we'll have it on display for at least a month because it'll be on until the final adoption, which will be at the December 10th meeting.
Thank you.
So with that, any questions or comments regarding the budget can be, you prefer email? Email to Chuck, to answer them. And then when we have our workshop meeting, the council will still come up, if they have any more questions, they can still come up with questions or concerns regarding the budget. Public will be able to voice their concerns. It's not gonna be question and answer regarding, explaining the entire budget, but you will be able to voice your concerns to council regarding anything in the budget. So if you want specific answers, then email Chuck. So that way we can get you, he can get you the answers to, or the clarification. And then if you have comments or concerns, then that can be addressed with council at their, I don't think it's November, is it the 8th? November 12th meeting.
Thank you.
Anything else?
If I can go back just to the whole concept of notifications, I'm having office hours here Tuesday, November 5th, Tuesday, November 19th from 6 to 7:30. I'm also having them here on Saturday, November 9th from 8 to 10. And the next mayor at large in the community will be on November 18th from 6 to 7 in the library. if you talk to people and they wanna come talk about ideas for how, you're not the first one to bring up that, since the loss of the town crier and all the rest of it, how information's being distributed. I'm more than happy to take the lead on talking to people about that. I don't know what we'll be able to come up with, but, between Savvy Citizen, the Facebook pages and all the rest of it, apparently we're not hitting the market we'd like to. Somebody else has suggested inserts in the water bill, but the water bill only comes out quarterly. So, if you're like me, I read it once and it sits in a pile somewhere until it's lighting something. But, I'm more than happy to take the lead if you get feedback or whatever, and they can always email me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all for adjourn.